Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing with the re-reactions to the Beatles discography. We are now on to Help, their fifth album, which came out in... I need to get the album... 1965, ladies and gentlemen. 1965. Yeah. This is, for me, when I was first going through their discography, I saw this album as the first step into the Beatles' great era. I gave this album a solid 8 when I first heard it. I thought the album was just a fantastic, fun, pretty memorable ride, and I'm going into this thing after their earlier albums have now grown on me, with the expectation and the hope that this will grow on me as well. Yeah, I haven't really come back to the album since I first listened to it. Like, I listened to it, re-listened like once or twice for a video, and then I haven't really listened to it since, so this is going to be quite fresh, the majority of this, and yeah, I'm just hoping that I can still get the same enjoyment out of this that I did back when I was sent it in, you know, in 2024. I feel like I don't need to do too much blabbering, you know, it's Help by the Beatles. Everyone knows this album, everyone loves this album. 14 tracks, 33 minutes. Let's just run this shit. Track 1, the iconic title track, Help.
Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help, you know I need someone. Help. When I was younger, so much younger than today. I never help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me? And now my life has changed in so many ways.
Oh, those melodies. Yeah. Those melodies are just so damn satisfying. This feels like the album where the Beatles really start to form their own identity musically. There's something about the way these melodies are shaped. There's something about the way this instrumental kind of breathes and the way it flows. It really does feel like the Beatles starting to properly get their own identity. Before this, it felt like there's a lot of, not necessarily banking on their influences, but the influences shine through to a degree where it feels like they haven't fully found their voice. This is them fully having their voice by this point, in my opinion. This is such a fantastic open. And the Bob Dylan influence, of course. Bob Dylan, the GOAT.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me? When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured.
Like, it's...
I've changed my mind, I'll open up the doors.
It's such an assuring opener, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but there's something about this that I just hear this, and I just feel like I'm in for a fire fucking album. Whereas with the other ones, you know, the album's never had a full sense of assurance. This one feels like it does. Who's my favorite Beatle? I've said this before. I'm a Paul McCartney guy. Obviously, you know, you can point to George Harrison being incredibly underutilized, and All Things Must Pass being a perfect example of that. John Lennon being essentially the Beatles frontman for the first half of their discography. But I don't know. Paul McCartney is a vocalist, Paul McCartney is a writer, Paul McCartney's songs in general, I just tend to gravitate towards a little bit more. Even his solo work, I feel like, you know, I've only heard one George Harrison and one Ringo album, but between John and Paul, I have found myself much more enjoying Paul McCartney's solo and side projects than John Lennon's across the board. So yes, I would say Paul McCartney is my favorite. Yeah, Help is just a fantastic opener, a great busting down the door type track. It's energetic as hell. The performances here just feel like they've dusted off all of the... I don't necessarily want to say amateurish quality, but the kind of rough and tumble nature of the previous albums, where this feels like them just being locked the fuck in. Great writing, fantastic performance from John Lennon, of course, throughout this track. Such a great sense of melody on this song. Catchy-ass chorus. Incredible space built with this instrumental. Fun riffing and shit like that. Everything just fucking slaps on this track. I'd give this one a high 8. Yeah, high 8. I really do enjoy Help as an opener, and the fact that they start off the album on a note as confident as this gives me confidence that I'm going to enjoy the rest of the album as much as I did before. Next track, The Night Before. The bass sounds amazing in this mix.
Makes me wanna cry. We said all goodbye. The night before. Love was in your
Again, the thing that immediately makes this stand out is the confidence being exuded here. Great feels from Ringo, space line fucking slaps, the actual bass tone and how thick it is in this mix is really satisfying. These guitar riffs are like fire as all hell, and the vocal runs are just stunning across this track. This is the Beatles just, you know, after having their like establishing era, I would say the first 4 albums are. This is them being established, and this is them saying, okay, now we can just do our thing, be fully locked in, be fluid, and be confident in what it is we have to say with this music. And it shines through beautifully with these first 2 tracks. It's fucking night and day. Even though the first couple albums did grow on me a decent bit, this is like night and day in terms of quality, in my opinion. Okay, this guitar solo is kind of dog shit. It's not perfect, you know, it's not perfect. There's still some blemishes here. That guitar solo kind of sucked. Tiny snippets of this on Beatles for Sale, yeah. Solo was indecisive. It's actually not a bad way of describing it. Ringo carried the early albums. I feel like Ringo grew along with the band. I don't know if there was any sense of carrying across the board in general, really. George solos are always hit or miss in the early Beatles. Yeah, that one was kind of mid. I don't know. That song across the board was like fantastic, though. Carrying over that energy from the title track beautifully. This track just feels like another fast-paced, blazing, the band just trying to be as hype as possible, get as much energy out there as possible, and I feel like it's just as effective as the previous song. Of course, I'm going to have to, you know, dock a couple of points because that solo was as shit as it was, but besides that, this song is fucking great. Another heater. Again, this album immediately just feels so much more assured of itself. It feels immediately like the band don't need to do any of this, like, proving themselves. It doesn't feel like they need to do any of this, like, establishing what their tone is or what their sound is. It just feels like they've fully locked in and found what it is that they want this band to be. And it's just a million times more confident in its execution and a million times more enjoyable for that. I don't want to say a million times more enjoyable. That's a bit much, but still. I do think this immediately is setting itself as the biggest step of growth out of any of the albums that we've gotten so far. And a solid 8 for me. Lil Wayne, our solo. You've got to hide your love away.
Here I stand, head in hand, turn my face to the wall. If she's gone, I can't go on, feeling 2 foot small. Everywhere people stare, each and every day. Hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away.
Okay, this is where we really get to see the Bob Dylan influence. The inflection, the little bit of rasp on his voice, the way this guitar is being accented. This is some Bob Dylan dick sucking right here. This is John Lennon really loving Bob Dylan and essentially just making a Bob Dylan track. Is it quite on the same level of quality as Bob Dylan? Not really. But still, it's an enjoyable song. I like the waltzy feel this track has. I think that this shaker is really satisfying. It's well recorded. John Lennon's vocal performance, whilst obviously very much tapping into Bob Dylan, it's still quite sweet. I don't know, this track's still enjoyable so far, if a little derivative.
How could she say
First melody's great. Fucking hell, can't speak. First melody's great. I agree. The song was nice. But I do have some minor gripes with it. It felt like there were a couple more elements that could have been added to this track to, I don't know, just make it feel a little more fleshed out. I think that the percussive elements in particular, the shaker is nice and the brush on the snare is pleasant, but I think I would have preferred like a gentle swingy drum beat over this to kind of give it a little bit more of a sense of drive, especially with the tempo and the fact that it's going for a waltzy thing. It feels like this track just needed a little bit more energy in that front to make it feel as kinetic as I feel like it wants to be. But still, besides that, and obviously the kind of derivative nature of the song, I will say it's still an enjoyable track. Again, appreciate the waltzy feel. I think that the textures throughout this song are pretty satisfying. The way the acoustic guitar kind of plays off of the brushed snares and the shaker and everything like that. As a nice little tag at the end, a nice little sweet instrumental close that I think that is a nice way to set the song down. All in all, this one's a high 7. Solid song, enjoyable as hell. The weakest of the bunch so far, quite handily, but I don't know, not to a degree where I like disliked the track or thought it was a significant step down or anything like that. The song is still solid, still good shit. I Need You.
You don't realize how much I need you. Said you had a thing or two to tell me. How was I to know you would upset me? Oh yes, you told me you don't want my loving anymore. That's when
interesting cowbell implementation.
I'm feeling like this, I just can't go on anymore.
Very interesting.
Please
what is that in the right channel?
It's
It kind of sounds like a guitar, but it doesn't have the attack of a guitar. It doesn't quite sound like an organ. I can't put my finger on what that is. Low sort guitar. It sounds like guitar. It just doesn't have the attack of a guitar, though. Everyone's saying guitar. This song, I'm a little 50-50 on. I think that the backing vocals throughout this track are absolutely stunning. The writing here is genuinely quite sweet as well. And I think that the overall drive of this track, the pacing, is pretty satisfying. And there are multiple moments where I thought this track was absolutely gorgeous. But then there's some elements like that guitar sound in the right channel or the cowbell being thrown in there randomly that just kind of ruin the mood of this song, in my opinion. I feel like this track is like a nice, sweet, very soft and subtle kind of love song, and then you just get this big, like, blaring wah-wah sound in the fucking right channel, or you get the cowbell coming in. It just feels like there's distractions being thrown into the mix here that kind of make the song feel tonally unbalanced. Give this one a solid 6. Enjoyable elements. There is a fantastic song underneath this, but there's just some things being thrown in that I feel like are just a bit much. It feels like this song needed to be a little simpler, honestly. Another Girl.
But as from today, well, I've got somebody that's new. I ain't no fool and I don't take what I don't want, for I have got another girl. For I have got another girl. Another girl who will love me till the end. Through thick and thin, she will always be my friend. But I don't take what I don't want, for I have got
Damn.
another girl.
Very forward lyricism. That's the thing that I feel like has taken the biggest step up here, is the writing is great across all of these songs. Yeah, 8.3. I think this song is pretty damn fun. The group vocals, whenever it says another girl, it just like scratches the right itch in my brain. It's so satisfying every single time. I like the very forward lyricism of this track. It kind of highlights one of the biggest improvements here again, that I think that the writing has taken a massive step up on this album. It was still solid on previous albums, but here it's like really fucking locked in. I don't know, on top of that, I just like how simplistic this song is. You know, this track doesn't feel like it's throwing in too many things into the mix to overcomplicate it. It feels like this song is just focused on being cut and dry, straight to the point, and it gets its job done really well. So yeah, low 8 for me. You're Gonna Lose That Girl. up next.
You're gonna lose that girl. Yes, you're gonna lose that girl. You're gonna lose. Yes, you're gonna lose that girl. If you don't take her out tonight, she's gonna change her mind.
We got a Beach Boys song.
And I will take her. I'll lose that girl.
Yes, the bongos are really sweet. There's been nice added percussion all the way throughout this album, whether it's like the shakers, the bongos here. Yeah, the vocals are fucking fantastic on this track, as they have been on every song. Yeah, this one, similar to the previous one, is just nice, simple, cut and dry, straight to the point. Some nice added percussion in here as well with the bongos on the right channel. Guitar solo, again, they've been a little hit and miss. This one I feel like is a miss. That guitar solo did not do it for me. It felt like a little bit of a distraction to be thrown into the middle of this song. It didn't feel like it really fit at all. But besides that, honestly, the song was really fun. This album's a lot like simpler than I remember, and I kind of like that. I like that this is them just making simple, catchy pop tracks. It doesn't feel like them going too far outside of what this album needs to be. There's been a couple moments where I feel like the songs have been maybe a little overstuffed, but the commitment to having these tracks just be simple and catchy is what's making it work so well for me. It feels like them just doing their thing, as opposed to some of the weaker moments on previous albums where it's felt like they've been trying to be something else, you know? Ticket to Ride. I forget that Ticket to Ride is on this album. This is another one of the songs that I obviously remember because this is one of their bigger songs.
The girl that's driving me mad is going away. She's got a ticket to ride.
It is one of its more interesting parts, yeah.
She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride, and she don't care.
I love how accented that snare is as well. It's a little tighter than it has been on the previous songs, so you get a really nice like poppy sound out of it. It's just a great drum tone overall. The toms are nice and booming as well. Have a nice sense of resonance to them. It's just a great recording, honestly.
Living with me was bringing her down.
Yeah, the slightly swung thing that he's doing is really... I can't speak today. It's really sweet.
When I was around, I think it's today, yeah.
I like that the backing vocals come in a little bit late there.
Driving me mad. She's got a
Oh, this is their first song over 3 minutes. Damn, I didn't even notice.
She's got a ticket to ride, but she don't care. I don't know why she's riding so high. Shoulda think twice, shoulda do right by me. My baby don't care.
Absolutely. It's one of the clear examples of here the emotional, moodier drive being the central force driving the track as opposed to being a backdrop for the songs. The songs were, yeah, 100%. Yeah, Ticket to Ride is a great track. I feel like the song maybe overstays its welcome a little bit. I know it's their first track over 3 minutes. It feels like there's, towards the final third of the track, the beginning of the final third of the track, there's a couple of moments where I feel like the song maybe does start to drag a little bit, but besides that, honestly, the track's catchy as hell. It's got one of Ringo's more interesting parts. The riffing is fantastic. I love the kind of swung feel he brings to the song where he's doing the flams going from the snare to the high tom. And then obviously also the fact that the backing vocals come in a little bit late and stuff like that. Just little bits and pieces thrown into this song to make it a very satisfying experience, even if I think it does have its minor pacing issues. Another high 8 for me. 8.9, like right below a 9. Act Naturally. This is the Ringo song, right? I feel like I remember this one too.
They're gonna put me in the movies.
That's ball knowledge from me. Holy shit, I can't believe I remembered that.
Big start out of me.
It's a song about being in a movie for the soundtrack.
I'm gonna be a big star. The movie's gonna make me
Bonnie Morrison, Johnny Russell.
Play the part so well. The biggest fool that ever hit the big time. And all I gotta do is act naturally.
Fake Ringo hater? It's because I'm not a Ringo hater. I've always said I like Ringo. You're gonna make me say the thing. You're gonna make me say the thing. Listen to me. 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 Ringo is good. There are parts that Ringo has that are genuinely fantastic. Tomorrow Never Knows, great part. Day in the Life, great part. Ticket to Ride, great part. She Said, great part. But on the whole, is Ringo the best drummer ever? Not close to being in the realm of even being a little bit close. No. Disrespectful to so many incredible jazz drummers, so many incredible metal drummers, so many incredible prog drummers, so many better rock drummers, pop drummers. Like, I get he was in the Beatles. I get he has great parts. But please, let's not undervalue just how incredible other drummers are just to say, but he's the guy from the Beatles. He's got to be the best. Come on.
We'll make the scene about a man that's sad and lonely, and begging down upon his bended knee.
Ringo's biggest hater, I know.
And I won't need rehearsing.
Very charming vocals. I like Ringo's vocals on Beatles stuff. He usually brings like a cute awkwardness.
You will plainly see.
Remember one guy saying Ringo was the first compositional drummer?
Never hit the big time.
No. This might low-key be better than Octopus? No, Octopus is easily my favorite Ringo song. This is great though. What score did I... Voice crack. Fucking hell. What score did I originally give this one? I'm going to check that real quick. Because this feels like one that I wouldn't have liked on a first listen. Act Naturally, I gave a 70... Oh, wait, no. Act Naturally, no, I gave an 84. I did enjoy this on a first listen. And I'm happy to report I enjoy it again on a second listen. I'd probably give it around that same ballpark, probably like an 8.6. Very charming, very cute vocal performance from Ringo. This was also the song they used as an example to say he was a genius drummer. Why? Why this one? It's a standard swung 50s rock beat with some rim shots added on top of the mix. It's a very odd choice. He has far better parts than this. This is just a kind of a standard Ringo part. The endurance? I mean, playing a 50s rock beat at that speed, I guess. This isn't his best part, though. This isn't, like, genius. This is just a fast 50s rock beat. And again, that does take being a drummer for quite a while and building up hand endurance, but I feel like there are better options than this song. Absolutely. But no, this song was very sweet. It's from that one YouTube video. I think I know what one you're talking about. It's like if your drummer says that Ringo is overrated, show them this. Or get them to play this. And it's like, I forget. I forgot what song that was, and if it's this one, then it's a terrible choice. Ringo has way better tracks in terms of creative drumming, in terms of parts that are fun to play. Anyway, song's cute. It's fun. It's sweet. Love Ringo's charming, awkward vocals here. I think that this instrumental, again, is doing the simplistic thing, and I like that. It's catchy. Oh, for fuck's sake. Are we back? Fucking stream lagged. Again, everything is falling into place to make me talk about this song as long as possible. Okay, 8.6. Good Ringo song. It's Only Love.
I get high when I see you go by. My oh my, when you sigh, my inside just flies.
Oh yeah, no. I think of like Rubber Soul and Help as being like completely different worlds. I know that I've said this is where the Beatles start to finally find their fucking hell. I can't speak. This is where the Beatles finally like start to find their sound and their proper sense of identity. Rubber Soul. This feels like a bridge to Rubber Soul, if that makes sense. This album feels like a transitional piece more than anything, if that makes sense. You know, this feels like the middle ground between early Beatles and then critically acclaimed Beatles. And yeah, it is the ultimate bridge album. Rubber Soul is like where you finally start to get to the Beatles, you know? The early albums, like, oh yeah, those are, you know, how the Beatles started out. Rubber Soul is the first album where it's like, okay, this is fucking the Beatles, you know? That's kind of how I view it.
It's only love, and that is all. Why should I feel the way I do? It's only love, and that is all. But it's so hard
John hated this song. Why? It's felt like it's in line with everything else on the album so far. He called it a lousy song. I feel like that can be applied to a lot of the slower tracks on this album, though. They're all very simple. This isn't like fucking strokes of musical genius that are being put out into the world here or anything like that. They're just simple, sweet pop tracks, and this is another example of that. I don't understand why this would be the song he goes to hate on this album. Most embarrassing song I ever wrote? Well, there's this album called Sometime in New York, and the opening track on that album, I feel like is a little bit more of an embarrassment, you know, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm feeling a flat 8 on this. It's not like the most memorable song out of the bunch so far. I feel like this track isn't going to be one that I come back to as much as fucking like Ticket to Ride or any of the other songs that I've enjoyed more than this. But still, I still think this track is sweet. I think that John Lennon's vocal performance here, the way the directions he takes these melodies are really fascinating, and it was kind of fun to see how he kind of toyed with that throughout this track, went to some kind of unexpected places. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why this is John Lennon's least favorite. This song is pretty good. Another George song up next. You Like Me Too Much.
Though you've gone away this morning, you'll be back again tonight, telling me there'll be no next time if I just don't treat you right. To walk out and make me lonely, which is all that I deserve. You'll never leave me, and you
Slightly
know
threatening
it's
lyrics,
true.
yeah.
'Cause you like me too much and I like you. I will follow you and bring you back where you belong.
Excuse me? If you leave me, I will follow you and bring you back where you belong? Had the exact same reaction on the first listen. It's just a sus-ass line. Discord mod. Give him a break, it was the 4th song he ever wrote. That doesn't mean he's free of criticism. And I can handily say that line is a bit much.
'Cause you like me too much and I like you.
Boomer's big mad that Woman was understandably left off Sometime in New York City reissue, although there's lots of additional archival footage on both ends. Suck it up and take one loss out of many. It's probably best that song gets forgotten, you know? That Woman song, listen, for as much as I have seen people try their damn hardest to be like, no, this is not what you meant, it's not what you meant, he actually meant... You know, it is probably best that song gets forgotten about. Aged like milk the day it was released. What Woman song? The opening track off of Sometime in New York City. You're not going to get me to say the title. Just look up the album and look at what the first song's called. And then look at John Lennon and ask yourself, wait, why did he write this? Anyway, You Like Me Too Much. Song's fine. Creepy lyrics aside, feels like this track, instrumentally, is still satisfying. I like the piano part that's thrown in here. The piano is pretty fun. It kind of felt like this track didn't quite have the same immediate catchiness as some of the other songs, the immediate instrumental satisfaction as some of the others. It's solid, still sweet. I would give it like a high 6 to a flat 7. Good track. Just has some more glaring issues than some of the others, particularly, again, lyrically, and the instrumental just not being as instantaneous or as gripping as the others. Tell me what you see.
We will never be apart if I'm part of you. Open up your eyes now. Tell me what you see. Time will pass.
Yeah, the double vocals are always really nice.
If you put your trust in me, tell me what you see. What you see is me.
Ringo just recycling tickets right at the end of the bridge.
What you see.
I mean, when you have such a great snare tone like that, you want to show it off, you know? Especially when most of the song is crustic.
One more time, what you see is me.
Nice to get a song that brings back a little bit of the higher energy here. It's not, obviously not quite as bombastic and immediate as the first two songs or anything like that, but it's nice that this track is a little bit more driving than the last few, because we had kind of a string of some of the slower songs on the album, all back to back there. And yeah, getting one here that's just a little bit more immediate, it kind of has a little bit more of a very forward kind of immediacy to it, is really sweet. I kind of have a lot of the same praises for this one as I do about the rest of the tracks. I like the simple instrumental that they go for. I think that this song is catchy. The double vocals are really sweet. That little bridge thing that Ringo does where he goes onto the flying with the snare and then has a little fill, that's like little fun parts that they throw in like that to flesh the songs out and kind of make them feel more interesting to kind of dissect. I don't know. Like another low 8. This album's like super enjoyable. It's just so easy to listen to, you know. It like there's no big complex musical ideas. It doesn't feel like it's too derivative. It feels like the Beatles again have found their identity, and it's just them making simple tracks that are just easy to digest, catchy as hell, and there's not been any like standout bad songs so far. I still like my opinions on this album so far are about lining up with how I would say I felt about it before. It's great. You know, it's not perfect. It definitely feels like a transitional piece for the Beatles, you know, into the truly, truly great stuff that's like Rubber Soul and onwards. But I will still say, I think this album's great too. Honestly, I think this album is still like just a fantastic experience that, I don't know, I feel like I could actually see myself coming back to after this listen, because I didn't find myself listening to it too much after the first time I listened to it. But honestly, like, this is just such a big step up from the Beatles' super early stuff, like their first 4 albums. This really feels like them having found what it is that they want this band to be. Just locking the fuck in. Good shit. I've just seen a face.
I've just seen her face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just the girl for me, and I want all the world to see we've met.
Is this the fastest Beatles song? I think so. Very up-tempo.
Falling, yes I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again, me back again.
Fun to see him tapping into some country here. Driving train beat, the very accented acoustic guitars.
And she keeps calling.
Can we skip Dizzy Miss Lizzy after yesterday? No. That reminded me though. Hang on. That did just remind me. Another one of my biggest criticisms about this album was it not ending with Yesterday. I literally just remembered that. And I can't wait to shit on the final song again. I'm going to give it a 0 this time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give it a 0. I've already decided. I've just seen a face is pretty great, though. High 8 for me. It's one of the more unique songs on the album. It sees them going full country, driving train beat, very up-tempo, great verse melody. A chorus melody as well from John Lennon. Incredible layered vocals as well. I like the acoustic sounds on this track as well. The very accented acoustic guitars, the little solo that's thrown in towards the middle of the track is really sweet too. Overall, again, just a fantastically enjoyable song. Really fucking sweet. Wait, what did I say? Not John? Did I say John? My bad. I'm so used to fucking saying John Lennon with these early Beatles albums. My bad. Alright, we have the song that should close the album up next, Yesterday.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly,
Truly timeless song, I agree.
I'm not half the man I used to be. Why
That upright bass is really nice.
had to go,
I think it's an upright bass at least.
she wouldn't say.
Sounds like it.
I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday. Something
Talking about an absolutely cooked,
wrong, now
indeed.
I long for yesterday. Yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
Yeah, this song's a 10. It's fucking Yesterday by the Beatles. There's just something about this track that's so infectious. It's a timeless song, like a genuinely, like legitimately timeless song. This song could have been written in the 50s. This song could have been fucking written today. And either you could tell me either and it would make sense to me. Such a fantastic recording and production as well. That very subtle, kind of muted upright bass, the acoustic guitar, the way it rings out, just fucking speaks volumes, man. And also, the string arrangement, incredibly simplistic, but I like that. I like that this track incorporates the strings to give it more of a dramatic swell, but doesn't go too overboard in that regard. This is just an example of the Beatles showing in the first half of their discography that they can craft a genuine masterpiece. It's the only good song to ever be released. Exactly. It's Yesterday. Everyone knows this song's incredible. Everyone knows this song is gas. Everyone knows this song is timeless and amazing. It's the end of the album, right? Listen, how you guys feel about Dizzy Miss Lizzy, how people feel about Yesterday not ending this album, that's how I feel about the Black Parade not ending at Sleep. Sleep is the Black Parade's Yesterday. And then the next 3 songs are that album's Dizzy Miss Lizzy. I don't even remember this. Okay, that's very loud guitar to start the song. I don't remember this song, by the way. Legitimately, I don't remember a fucking thing. God, this song has a 6-7 on Album of the Year. I'm going to give it a 0 so that I can ruin that. I'm joking. I'm joking. Why are the guitars so fucking loud?
Come on, give me fever.
Trying to be Twist and Shout? This is way more energetic than Twist and Shout. Still a great John vocal? Absolutely, yeah. Again, he is bringing kind of a Twist and Shout energy vocally, yeah. They thought about albums the same as live sets, so they thought they had to end with a banger. I could see where they're coming from in that regard. However, it doesn't work, unfortunately. Though I do see where they're coming from. Now that... There you go, there's Twist and Shout. Where would this fit on the album? This... I agree with Jared. This is the weaker song on the album. This could have been left off. Very, very strange choices on this track that I don't feel like we really need. This song feels like a bit of filler, honestly. Yeah, B-side material, absolutely. These super over-the-top, loud-ass guitars. The writing on this track being... feeling like it's more so in line with what was going on the first Beatles album as opposed to being 5 albums in terms of progression in that regard. This song's fine. Great John Lennon vocal performance. The band are kind of going wild. I think that, the energy of this song is very tangible. It does feel like if I were to hear this in a live setting or something like that, as they were describing it, it would be hype as fuck. But as a piece of this album, as a song recording, it's okay. But it's like a 6. Solid 6. The album should have ended with Yesterday. Oh, this is a cover? Oh, I didn't even know that. There you go. That'll explain why the writing isn't as good as the rest of the album. That was Help, ladies and gentlemen, by the Beatles. I still love this album. I still stand by what I said before about it being the first great Beatles album, about it being the first album where it feels like them finding their identity, finding their sound, finding their voice, and being able to just lay back and create some great pop tracks out of it. It does have its issues still. I feel like there are some songs in here that maybe feel a little derivative, some songs that feel a little bit overstuffed at points, some songs that, you know, just have dog shit placement, like Dizzy Miss Lizzy. But there's no bad songs on this album. I feel like all of them, at the bare minimum, are fun, listenable tracks that, were I to listen to this thing front to back casually, I probably wouldn't skip, besides probably stopping the album at yesterday and not really bothering with Dizzy Miss Lizzy. Yeah, it's just a collection of fun rockers where the band get to just let loose and do their thing. A great bridge album as well between the Beatles' early era and their critical acclaim era. I know this album was well received critically back then, but, you know, Rubber Soul feels like the first album that is like, you know, the band that people say are the greatest fucking band of all time. This album feels like it's not quite there. This album doesn't feel like it quite has that level of regard. It doesn't feel like it's talked about quite as much as like a Rubber Soul and onwards, but still, I will say, as of right now, still handily the best Beatles album so far. Their first truly great album, and one that I am very glad to have returned to, because, I don't know, I feel like I got a little bit more out of this album this time, even if my score, it's probably going to be around the same. It does feel like I had a little bit more of a fulfilling listen with this one this time, and I'm just glad to have gotten a chance to reevaluate this one, even if my feelings are about the same. I'm going to run the numbers, and I am going to tell you all what my overall what my overall score on this album is. Sounds about right. The calculated score on this album is an 8.2, which is a lower score than I gave it before. I will say this was a more fulfilling listen, if that makes sense. It's weird. I've grown a greater appreciation about this album, but I don't think it's, you know, I feel like my general overall feelings about the individual tracks have gone down slightly. I don't know. Lower score, but still I appreciate the album more. That's why the score doesn't fucking matter, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the number I assign the album doesn't matter, and people need to stop skipping to the end of the video, looking at my score, and assuming that that's all I have to say about it, okay? It's a fucking number. Listen, I need to rant a little bit. So many people will come into my videos, just skip between the tracks, see the number that I assigned the song, see the number I give it at the end, and they're like, oh, well, it's good that you didn't understand this album. You didn't give any reason. It's like, the number doesn't fucking matter, man. I always describe it as this. The number is just the book cover for my opinion. And then the other 5 minutes that I spend talking about the song is the actual fucking book. Okay? Don't judge a book by its cover. Anyway, rant over. Yeah, this album's great. Best Beatles album so far, quite handily, and yeah, one that I'm very glad to have returned to. Excited to go on to the rest of, you know, the peak era of the Beatles, you know, starting with Rubber Soul, which I will be doing next. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below and how it compares to other Beatles albums for you. Massive thank you to Chivo for editing this. Of course, link to his album of the year will be down in the description. There will be a playlist around here somewhere where you can see all of my Beatles reactions, the old reactions, the re-reactions, the tier list. If we have reached, if you're watching this by the time we've reached the end of these re-reactions, the new ranking that I've put out of the Beatles albums as well. Like and sub if you haven't. We are on our way to 4K. Links in the description to my Discord, my album of the year, my Twitter, and my other channels. Check those out if you haven't. And I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye-bye.